she asked me for some help on that act. And
that quack. That quack swan act.
Oh, the quack. Sorry, did I say something?
No, because we danced around the act a bit to not give it fully away. So the quack act.
Okay, the quack. Censor me, please, in post.
I'll put a quack, exactly. And that way, when we keep saying quack, they understand why. No, but it's okay. It's great. That way, it builds suspense.
Yeah, exactly. The suspense.
So when she quacks.
When she quacks, she really does quack. So the quack act. Yes. And she just had... she had questions for me in terms of costumes. She's like, hey, I know that you build costumes and obviously you do drag and like, I love the way that your concepts come to life. Yeah. Can you help me?
MeMeCherry presents a series of fortunate events. Fortunate events. Fortunate events. Series of fortunate events.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of the series of Fortunate Events podcast, brought to you by who? It's still me, MeMeCherry, and our sponsor, Neil Does Art. But today, I am joined by the gorgeous, the talented, the beautiful
Scarlett Business.
And she means business.
Yes, she does, honey.
Oh my gosh. We were introduced to Scarlett via Kiki Maroon, friend of the pod, former guest. I told Kiki I'm coming to Vegas. I need some referrals. Kiki was super generous, gave me a few names. 2 of you said yes. And we went to the show last night. And I mean, I've seen you on social media and I'd seen videos. And so I knew what I was in for, but you just are not ready. You're not ready until you see it in person.
You know, it's really funny. So we'll get into this later, I assume, but I'm from a live performance background.
Yes,
obviously.
yes.
I went to circus school.
Yes.
And I would say that upon graduating, I recognize that as one of my strongest traits. It's like you spend all of this time building your brand, making sure that you have consumables on the internet.
Yeah.
But really, my strongest suit is live in person. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yes. It's one thing to see the cake on the Instagram. It's another thing to eat it. And you ate last night, darling.
Thank you.
No crumbs, not even a pan was left behind. You took the stove.
Look, I'm hungry. I make sure that it's clean, okay?
And that version of Pleasure Seeker is just so cunty.
Did you know the song before?
I've heard the remix for years. So when I was very, very young, worked in retail at Oak Tree back in the mall in San Francisco. And I want to say that's when I had like a very gay, fabulous pair of managers that would play lots of music. And I want to say there was a remix of that song that they used to play because it's not that version that I remember. But that version, which I'm guessing might be the original.
What I know of it is there's an extended version that essentially my number is the extended version minus like 30 seconds. And there's a radio edit also.
And there's like a housey kind of like version that's the one that I know.
Yes, there must be. I'm sure there's a plethora of remixes actually.
Of course.
So.
I think it's like the Sneaker Pimps one, if I'm not mistaken.
Who is that?
So Sneaker Pimps, it's like one of these like DJ kind of like, again, I was a child listening to like this music all around me in the store, and it's amazing that my stoner brain still remembers any of this. I might be wrong, but I would bet $5 that there's it's Sneaker Pimps, that version of Pleasure Seeker.
That's a steep bet, $5.
Yes, $5, dale. Okay, America's Got Talent, Circus Passion, Drag Meets Circus, Sewing, Costume Design. I mean, you have quite a pantheon of skills, talents, and hobbies.
I do. It's been a journey building up to it, but it's definitely been more incremental than what it appears, which I feel like is everyone's story normally.
10 years to be an overnight success kind of vibe.
Definitely that. And it's been more than 10 for sure in total.
Yeah.
But it also still hits like just what you said is like I'm doing all the things. It's like it slaps me in the face sometimes, but in general, it's worth it.
Talk to me about America's Got Talent. Like, what's it like to be on a show that scale? I know that you signed somewhat of your life away, so you can't really talk about how the sausage gets made, but whatever you can share of the sausage being made that you think was interesting or like stood out to you, talk to me.
Yeah, so luckily, well, I shouldn't say luckily, but I didn't go super far on the show, so I didn't sign any major NDAs.
Got it.
So I would say that basically anything in terms of production, if you've been on a TV show, if you understand the nature of backstage at like a reality competition format, it's really nothing crazy.
Yeah.
The real interesting kind of nugget in my AGT experience is that actually I was speaking to the scouts right before lockdown.
Oh.
So it was like February 2020, like through December 19th through February 2020, I was speaking to one of the scouts, and I just remember like training at the gym and like receiving a message from them and then kind of responding on my way home. And, you know, they're kind of wishy-washy, fickle. The way that the casting happens is so wide scale. They have to contact so many people. And then in the end, sometimes they don't even have time to get back to you if they're not going to go with you, or like you find out so much time after. So I was speaking with them and they're like, great, let's do it. Lockdown happens. So obviously everyone's like, am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Fuck cunt shit.
Fuck cunt shit. And so obviously everyone's like, holy fuck, like this sucks. The next year when they start filming the pandemic version, I did screen tests for them via Zoom in the backyard. So I'm like I got stuck at my parents' house. So I'm like on my mom's fucking old deck patio in the back in full drag, like on this rickety, creaky wooden patio, doing hand balancing to the song that I originally, or that I ended up doing it to, which is Woman by Kesha, in the middle of Texas, just like in a random backyard, did all the screen tests for it, and then they didn't go for it that year.
Wow.
So it's like, okay. And then it was the next year that I ended up filming, and then they ended up airing a full 6-minute special for me, even though I just did an audition.
6-minute special.
That was really cool. I was surprised
Dag.
because so many of my friends have been on the show, and they just end up being like little blips in promo, or they show 10 seconds of the act, and they did the full motherfucking moment for me. So that was really cool.
And is America Got Talent one of those that they do the cattle call, but you actually are people that get called? Like the people that actually get picked are the people that get called, and you don't really stand in line with everybody for 10 hours?
So I don't know. I can't confirm or deny like complete details. No, honestly, based off of my knowledge, I bet that there's people from cattle call that get called in. But it's definitely a mix where like
it's
if you look around.
I've heard on the Grape Vina of that kind of show format that a lot of the cattle call is for B-roll, sadly. Or like, audition kind of like footage.
Yeah, I'm unaware of the balance, but I think there is a balance of both. But for sure in the green room, you look around and you're like, oh, like where were you working? Who's your agent? Like that kind of thing. There's for sure casting.
Yeah,
but I'd like to hope that they give some. I'm sure that there are random people
of course
that apply and get chosen.
Of course. It's just interesting to me.
Yeah.
I just love the behind the scenes of things. I love the process of things. It's just like
it was really cool. And for me, the last thing that I'll say about that is, for an illustrious panel of judges, that's what really hit me. So I've been on some international television shows where I don't know who the judges are necessarily. I understand their magnitude, but I don't know them. And then I was to be judged by Simon Cowell, Howie Mandel, Sofia Vergara, and Heidi Klum. Those are all people that I grew up like watching on television. It was really cool. And as an artist, for them to say that they enjoy your piece is like, you're like, okay, I can go home now. I don't need to go to the grand finale. Like that was plenty for me.
What are the other shows?
I was on an Italian show called Tu Si Che Vallis, which is it's not a Got Talent franchise, but it's a similar format. And there are really famous judges. I just don't know any of them because I'm not Italian. Of course.
I mean, how dare you?
I know. Sorry, guys.
Circus, passion. Talk to me about your love of the circus. When did you fall in love with the circus?
Big long story. I fell in love with the circus when I was 9 years old. I was competing gymnastics prior, and I had actually seen I'd seen Ringling Brothers before, and my first Cirque du Soleil show was Mystère, actually, which 20 years later I ended up working on stage for, which is total full circle moment.
Yes, literally.
But the following year, so we saw Mystère. And the following year, I was on a family vacation at Walt Disney World, and we went to go see the Cirque du Soleil show there. My uncle bought all of our family and like extended family tickets. It was like a huge group of us that went, and I fell in love with this one act. It's a circus discipline called Diablo.
Okay.
It's a manipulation prop basically, and there's 4 little Chinese girls that do it, and they're all minors. They're like they range from 8 to 12. So like Cirque would go through an acrobatic agency to get them there. I just fell in love with the act, and the magic totally consumed me. I walked out of the theater and told my parents I wanted to work for Cirque du Soleil one day.
I love
and
that.
from there, like I was already competing in gymnastics and loved gymnastics. I think that's how I related to it.
Of course. It spoke to you. It was your language already.
Yeah, exactly. And gymnastics was like the only sport that I really excelled at naturally. And so after that, the love kind of went like this, where I loved gymnastics and then I discovered that I loved circus more. And the more I fell in love with circus, the less I wanted to do gymnastics.
Aww.
And so, yeah.
But you seem to have found a way to marry all these things together into your act quite a bit.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. I mean, at least it looks that way to me.
I'm glad it looks that way because that is one of my goals. My philosophy as an artist is that my best, theoretically, right? Because obviously theories don't necessarily end up coming to full fruition the way we expect. But theoretically, if I'm doing the most unique blend that I possibly can, that's when my best art is going to come out. And I really feel that way about what I'm doing now. It's like, okay, how can I just combine all the things that I love the most and the things that are unique about me to, you know, fortify my star power?
You are quite the powerhouse. I mean, I've seen a lot of drag. I'm a fan of drag. This, for a while, was, you know, quote unquote, a drag podcast. I always wanted to go beyond drag, so that's why we have other people, and I will always have everybody, but I will always come home to my backyard of the love of drag. And the physicality of your performance is mind-blowing. You're very, very talented. I think the only other person, and even then it's different, right? Because, you know, dolls are dolls and everybody's their own little doll, but the only one that I can think that compares even close is Melissa Skunt. She was the drag queen singing show that Trixie Mattel
Queen of the Universe, right?
Yes, she was on there, and she's a Bay Area queen. And she there's a one video of her performing at a club, I want to say in San Francisco. She high kicks the water sprinkler, rakes it, continues performing. Like, yes.
And there's just rain everywhere?
Yes. And
God.
The British cigarettes are eating it up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, my God, not the British cigarettes. I need a breather for that because I overuse that word now. It's like I'm totally taking it back. I'm taking that from you.
I mean, I feel like it's as close as I can come to touching the third wire.
No, for sure.
Talk to me. The show last night. If you come to Vegas, and actually I had lots of big dreams of doing lots of things with Seamus, of like all kinds of Vegas things, and it's been mostly a working trip. And last night we got to like go and hang out and see a show. It was the show that I needed to see. I didn't need to see anything else. It was great.
Yeah.
Talk to me about being a part of that cast, being a part of that show. Talk to me.
It kind of just falls into the serendipity of my entire career. So like if we were to have deep dived into like my gymnastics career, my circus career, it's all of these like serendipitous, like, oh, I ran into the right person at the right time and then happened to excel, or like I saw a circus show, fell in love, wanted to do it, and I had the physical capacity to be able to get to that level. Yes. Mavericks kind of fell upon me in the same way. So Bella Schleicher, who was one of your guests as well, who's also one of my colleagues. Yes. She asked me for some help on that act. And
that quack. That quack swan act.
Oh, the quack. Sorry, did I say something?
No, because we danced around the act a bit to not give it fully away. So the quack act.
Okay, the quack. Censor me, please, in post.
I'll put a quack, exactly. And that way, when we keep saying quack, they understand why. No, but it's okay. It's great. That way, it builds suspense.
Yeah, exactly. The suspense.
So when she quacks.
When she quacks, she really does quack. So the quack act. Yes. And she just had... she had questions for me in terms of costumes. She's like, hey, I know that you build costumes and obviously you do drag, and like, I love the way that your concepts come to life. Yeah. Can you help me? So I went to a random studio where she was rehearsing with Misbehave. Yeah. And that's how I met Misbehave. Oh. And at the end of the rehearsal, things went super well. We all jived because everyone, and side note, when you come see Mavericks, just know that like the synergy on stage comes from the fact that everyone is also fucking cool backstage. Like everyone gets along. Yeah. And we kind of looked each other in the eye, and she was just like, I will have something for you someday. And that day came, and she called, and during the rehearsal process and during kind of the press openings, they had some spots that they needed to fill because there were some injuries that happened, which is always unfortunate. But I had confirmed dates later in the fall, and she's like, hey, actually, I need you right now. So I did a 45-minute tech the first time that I did the show. I was like, I'm out of town. I was visiting friends on a different show in Atlantic City. And I said, look, I arrived this day, can't do that evening. The next day I have rehearsal at this time, and then I can tech for an hour, and I'm happy to be in the show because it was an existing act. So I fell into it that way. And then I've been there a lot more often than I thought. And I'm kind of there full time right now. And it happens to be the perfect home for my act right now. So I'm just accepting the abundance.
Yeah, you fit in perfectly. And it's a nice variety.
Yeah,
of
it is.
acts.
It is a true variety. You know, a lot of
Yes.
times you see like a variety show and it's basically just like, I don't know, drag and burlesque.
Yeah, and a singer.
And a singer,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And I
And the
feel like,
singer's in drag or burlesque.
exactly. I feel like Mavericks isn't not that. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah,
a proper
yeah.
variety show, but it has been interesting over the months to see the different rotation of
Yes.
acts that are possible because Misbehave has so many contacts around the world. So she's been able to bring such top tier talent and like unique talent in.
Yes.
And it really is a proper variety show. And what I think really hits it is that it's always different.
Yes.
You never know. It's really not a set show.
Yeah.
So
I think we're coming back sooner than I thought, Seamus, but that's a different conversation. So you're also very passionate about sewing and costume design. How did you stumble into that part of your nerdy brain?
a lot of British cigarettes criticizing me for doing drag and not sewing. Honestly, one of which I happen to work with now. I won't tell you which venue I work at with, but we got into a whole moment where she was like,
That Marlboro.
yeah, exactly. The Miss Camel was
That's what I
like,
was gonna say.
my grandpa used to smoke Camel, so that's like burned in my brain and my brain cells.
It's just also a good reference.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I just had people that were like, why are you not sewing? Why are you not on Drag Race? Why are you not sewing? Why are you not sewing? And to be honest, I was just doing so many things full time. Like at the time when I first got criticized for not sewing, I had a full-time circus career. I was starting to do drag and I was working full-time for Cirque du Soleil as a makeup artist.
Wow.
So I was like, I don't have time. And the feedback that I got, which is as true as it is untrue, was, well, you're never going to have time, so figure it out. And that's totally true. But I started to learn during the pandemic when I actually had time. So once like the timeline
Opened
of the
up for you.
pandemic really was revealed to all of us.
Revealed, I like that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, now's the time. Mom, where's the sewing machine?
Yeah.
And she'd helped my one of my aunts. One of my aunts has a little Etsy business, and by little, she was doing it full time for a really long time.
Nice.
So my mom knew how to sew, so she could kind of guide me through the basics.
Yeah.
And then I have a lot of friends that are professional seamstresses that make costumes. They work wardrobe for Broadway, Cirque du Soleil, or their own brands. So I started to go, and like everything else, I just got obsessed with it, and I was staying up all night, and then I was doing underlined, steel-boned, corseted dresses like 3 months in, and my mom was like, okay, I didn't know it was going to be like this.
I know that's right.
But I just wanted to get to business, and now like I made what I'm wearing today, and
Work.
I make as much as I can, but I also commission. So like the costume I wear at Mavericks was not made by me because I was busy making the act.
I get that.
So when time allows, to close off, I'm so sorry, I'm so long breathed.
That's perfect for a podcast.
Yeah, but it's not for like live hits on television that I'm used to doing. So I'm like, oh my God, I need to land the plane. The amazing thing about sewing is that it's the first thing that I felt just as passionate about as when I first found circus. And I don't want to demean drag, but I feel like the drag just like blends into the circus. It's like I was playing a fucking bird on the Las Vegas Strip. I was playing a dragonfly on a touring show internationally. It's like I was already doing drag.
You were
It
doing
felt
creature
like
drag.
Exactly. So femme drag doesn't feel something completely new.
Sure.
And sewing was that completely new skill where I was like, oh my God, I want to do this all day. I'm like stimming at the machine basically. And I hadn't felt that feeling since I first found circus. So
I wonder if it's something similar to my love of baking. Like I love that I start with all these ingredients and then I put my hands into it and then suddenly something comes out of it.
I think so. I think it is the creation and
that you get something tangible, physical that you can touch out of it.
yeah. I don't know. There's always been,
Because we're always creating as artists. You know what I mean?
exactly. It's just, and from podcast, I'm sure, like you end up wanting to create this product that requires so many skills under it. So it's like we've learned so many different things to curate whatever we want. And it just feels like sewing fit into my curation umbrella that way. Like I always loved to knit. I like makeup, and like I was already hand sewing and doing random crap on costumes before, because you have to learn, like when you're performing full time, you have to make it work. So I don't know. It really slapped me.
Have you
I
ever
love it.
performed in the Bay?
No, I haven't.
So, not telling you what to do. My drag mother is one half founder of Oaklash, the Bay Area's premier drag festival. It's going into
it's a
year
festival.
8 this year.
Oh my God. Okay.
Can I? Last year we got tattooed. That's
Oh
how
my
much I
God, you
love
have an
it.
Oaklash? That's sickening. I love that.
And I would suggest that it is an application process. You do have to apply and the curators do select you. I would happily put in a good word for you.
Okay.
But I say maybe consider applying for Oaklash. And then if you got selected, I'm sure that a few of us would happily get you a few more gigs to make it worth your while to come to the Bay, because I think my friends in the Bay Area need some Scarlett Business.
Some Scarlett Business. So actually, there's a few people who have contacted me from the Bay Area. They've always been like one gig at a time. And it's like, hey, like, I'd love to have you at my show. It's a bar show. You know, it's only quack amount, which is just not worth my while. And
of course.
So I'm looking for...
The good thing about Oaklash is that it's one of those things that so many people come in. There's a lot of gigs that like, there's like a mini economy.
Yes.
And so... just consider it.
I will, because I've honestly been looking for my little breakout moment in SF.
Because I would bring you back to the pod happily in the Bay.
Yes.
Let's get you into Oaklash. Let's get you into Oasis. Like, yeah, I mean, speaking of Oasis, what a perfect segue. August 7th, Oasis, San Francisco. Sophie Pod's next live show is coming to you at a cabaret stage close to you if you're in San Francisco or in the Bay Area. Although we will record it. I'm hoping that we can stream it. Have we teased? We've teased the concept. So, you know, a roast, right? Comedy roast.
Oh, I love it.
roast.
It's my favorite style of comedy.
Oh, good to know. Are you available August 7th? No. So I have my pod daddy, my pod father, one of my good friends, Keith Malley, who is a podcasting pioneer, has been podcasting for 20 years, has had a roast himself, and Keith and the Girl has asked me before, Mimi, would you ever do a roast? And I said, fuck no, I don't have skin thick enough. But then I started playing around with this concept, and I told it to enough people. Enough of them giggled at me. So then I decided to make it a thing. And I'm calling it the Bay Area's first reverse roast, where we say nice things to each other in a mean way. We uplift each other in a cunty way.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and we're bringing comedy and drag together. We're going to bring some comedians together. We're going to bring some drag performers. So the first part of the show will be like a drag performance, a comedian. They'll come on stage, play a silly game with me. We'll have an intermission. We'll come back. We'll have the bake, which is what I'm calling it. The bake of MeMeCherry. And then maybe there'll be a closing number, who knows? And that's the next Sophie Pod live show, August 7th, Oasis, San Francisco.
Be there or be square, bitches.
Yes. So yeah.
The bake. I've always wanted to have like a birthday roast. I want my friends to roast me. I love to get roasted.
Yeah.
It's like...
And I love the idea of challenging my friends to be creative in a new way.
Yeah, the reverse roast is an interesting concept. I've never heard of that before.
Thank you.
So.
Well, so I thought I had made it up, and come to find out, what was it? Andy Sandberg is the one that I found, I guess, did one before, which to me is proof of concept. And so that's why I'm calling it the Bay Area's first reverse roast. The bake. Yes, aka the bake of MeMeCherry. And I'm getting like all kinds of merch made. Like you see, I go hard for my concepts.
As you should. I need to take some notes. I'm like, I need some merch too. I need to do some things.
But yes, but before the bake, May, the third weekend, I want to say in May, it's like the late teens, I forget the number. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Oakland. Friday night, there will be the kickoff party for the festival per usual. Saturday, we have the full block party, back-to-back drag, DJs, all kinds of things, vendors, so much amazingness. Then the after Kiki with, I don't think the venue's been announced, but a cute little venue. I know what it is. And then Sunday, they're working on some cute things for the Sunday party. Every year changes, which is one of the things that I love about Oaklash, is that you can always expect something new on Sunday. So expect something very new this year's Oaklash Sunday. But yeah, I'm not telling you what to do, but I think you should apply.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. And
I've been looking for that.
If you
scale.
do apply, let me know. And I mean, I'm putting in a good word for you right now, but I will put in a good word with you with the curators.
Okay. Hey, curators.
Yeah.
I know y'all are watching.
Yes, they are. And you know you are. Okay. Production manager, how are we doing on tings and tings and
Tings and time. Tings and time.
Tings and tings. Good.
Okay. Also, before we
Yes.
move on to the next question, I have a
Yeah.
question. I have a random question for you.
We love random.
Is your name, does it come from MeMeCherry?
No.
It's like MeMeCherry instead of MeMeCherry? No?
No, but I love that.
Where does it come from?
So, long story short, and it's funny because I love that you're wearing a red wig. So, oh my God, I'm aging myself
A
now.
wig.
A hat, a beautiful hat. But the red, it's the your beautiful red hair, your beautiful red locks that naturally grew out of that beautiful scalp.
Oh, yes. Scalp.
Sorry, I got distracted.
You're fine.
Okay, so many moons ago, I had a good friend that I used to roll really, really deep with. And we spent one summer that I decided to quit my job. We were just kind of like doing a very artsy summer that summer.
Okay.
Smoking a lot of weed, making a lot of art. And I had red hair at the time, and she wanted to dye her hair white. And we had this concept, and we both had each separately been given the nickname Mimi with E's. Neither of us have E's in our names.
What?
We both have M names, but with I's in them, not E's, but separately in our lives, somebody had nicknamed each of us Mimi. And then because I had red hair, we started playing with this concept of MeMeCherry. And this is a former friend. We're not friends anymore, but shout out you, Mimi Pearl, the other half of MeMeCherry for a long time. And she's an amazing illustrator. And so she drew out, we started playing with the concept of superhero characters. So at first we were superhero characters. And it was like MeMeCherry and Mimi Pearl. And then we made a lot of art. And then it became Emmy Squared Productions because it was Emmy times 2. So
Right.
then it was Emmy Squared Productions for a long time. And then, and over time, MeMeCherry kind of stuck. And then, the internet, right? If you get smart enough, you create an alias. And so then my alias for a long time was MeMeCherry.
Yeah.
And then when it came time to do the podcast, do drag, do anything, it's MeMeCherry.
That's what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There you go. That was great. I believe we are close to our first commercial break. Before we do that, shout out Neil Does Art. Please check them out, neildosart.com. You can get all kinds of beautiful items from their Eastern Sierra photography-inspired art, including these cute, beautiful stickers and pins. There's a tiny pin over here. If you go to neildosart.com and enter the promo code CHERRY, you'll get 10% off. Thank you, sponsors. Thank you. You stick around. We'll be right back.
I was wondering, do you remember that you have a Patreon?
Wait, I have a Patreon?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Not only do you have a Patreon, but you also have a certain level of each Patreon that each person can aspire to become.
Yes, you can aspire to be one of my patrons.
What is the first level?
Well, I'm so glad that you asked the honey level. And in the honey level, you're going to get a sticker in the mail. You're also going to get production credit.
Hey.
And you also get access to hot cam footage, editing footage that used to end up on the editing room floor digitally that now ends up in your hot little pockets in your honey level of the Patreon.
What
Yes.
is the second tier?
We have a sugar tier. In the sugar tier, you're going to get not one sticker. You're going to get 2 stickers in the mail every month. You're going to get the production credit.
Hey.
You're going to get the hot cam footage.
Okay.
But you're also going to get the new Patreon exclusive What's in My Snurse and or just other Patreon exclusive content that would not be at the honey level because honey, you're okay, but you're not sugar. If you take sugar and you throw it in a pot, put a little heat on it,
Okay.
you get caramel.
There's a caramel tier now?
That's the top tier.
Okay. I have to know what is in the caramel tier.
What's in the caramel? You get 2 stickers in the mail every month. You know that you also get a little note handwritten by me?
What?
Yes, everybody gets a note with the stickers.
Well, that's fun.
I mean, it's like Christmas. I told you.
Okay.
You get the stickers. You get the production credit because you're what? A producer.
Hey.
You get the hot cam footage. You get the snurse footage. You get the other Patreon exclusive footage. But you also, and we are coming up on the first drop of these that people are going to get T-shirts in the mail, because every 6 months the caramel level gets a T-shirt in the mail. So yeah, so that is the Patreon.
MeMeCherry presents series of fortunate events.
Hi, and we're back. I hope you enjoyed that little break. I have some rapid fire questions for you and then some games. But my first question for you, not but, yes, and getting delirious.
Improv, hello.
If you could trade numbers with one of your fellow castmates at the Mavericks show, she's ready. Who are you trading with?
Kiki Maroon.
Oh.
110%. Are you kidding me? Yes. I literally, she doesn't know this, so Kiki, we'll see if you're a true podcast stan or not if you listen to this.
Are you a real friend of the pod?
I literally, I stim that music. Like I listen to that music over and over and over again. On long road trips, because it has like this sparkly nature to it, and I think her concept is so fun.
Yes.
And Charlie's just fucking fantastic. And I'm like, oh my God, like if I did burlesque and I came to a show and I saw her do that number, I'd be like, okay, I'm quitting, because I can't respectfully copy her. So since I can't do it, like I'm done. Like it's just, I don't know. I love the music, the concept, the vibe.
And when you were done, I remember telling him, I was like, how do you follow that?
With Charlie.
Exactly. Actually, you know what? That is the only way to follow that. You're right. Drag or circus? You have to pick only one.
Oh.
Ooh, we love that sound.
Oh. Fuck. Oh, and this so contradicts the way that I look right now. I have to pick circus.
Okay. But I love that. Hardest acrobatic move you've ever done?
Hardest acrobatic move. Okay, so there's two genres. So I used to be a power tumbler.
Ooh, okay,
right?
Power tumbler.
And so there's a couple of like big flips and twists that I did. So I would say it's between like a double split layout or a triple full. So it's a single flip with 3 twists. That's like dynamic acrobatics. But then in terms of handstands, I do a trick that's not in my Mavericks act right now, where I hop from one hand to the other on one arm. And I used to do it when I was at Cirque on a prop that's like 7.5 feet tall with no safety belt. So I've like eaten shit from it before. It mostly went well. I did it like close to 500 or 600 times, and I messed up maybe like 5.
I mean, that's good odds.
It was very safe, but yeah, it was definitely that. And it was one that I mentally struggled with sometimes. So I'd have to do some sports psych for it.
Craziest costume malfunction, because it's wild. You on your hands take off, like you do a reveal, like while you're upside down on your hands. Basically, long story long.
Long story long. Quack, quack.
So crazy. Have you ever had a malfunction with your beautiful costume?
Oh yeah. I mean, not the one at Mavericks. Actually, the one at Mavericks has been really stable, and that just comes from experience of knowing what I need, knowing how I need to prepare. But I mean, come on, I'm classic drag baby. My first performance, my fucking wig flew out. The first time that I ever performed at my original home bar in Montreal, I used to go to school in Canada, so I started drag there. I had like a cheap fucking like sock titty fall out onto stage when I was doing a handstand. I was like, Jesus Christ. And then since then I've been bare-legged a lot. So I've definitely had some bubble gum sticking out in some performances.
Blow some bubbles.
The last time that it happened, actually, there was a group of British cigarettes that were watching the show, and they're like, honestly, it looked like a real lip, so work, diva. And I was like, okay, period. Like, at least that. But yeah.
Well, my other favorite bubblegum giver is Willem, and Willem is my all-time favorite drag queen. So you're in good company.
Yes.
Bubblegum is part of the act. Speaking of acts, dream circus act to master. If you could master a circus act that you don't have now.
Oh, I was gonna say I kind of already like that was like the starting point of my career. Like, what do I want to master? It was hand balancing and contortion. But right now, actually, learning something new, putting a new act together. So I'm actually learning pole. One of my best friends works on the Strip in multiple shows and just landed a really big gig, which is super exciting for her. Doing pole, it's her original specialty. So she's helping me out because I've helped her with some auditions and stuff. And she was like, I need to help you. So the pole act is on the way, and that's currently the one I want to master.
Beautiful. And you just reminded me with the word pole that Power Tumbler would be a great drag king name. Okay.
True.
Vegas or international shows? What's more fun?
I'm really bad. I'm a really easy, I would say that I'm a really easy artist and I'm a really easy audience member. Like I can find the good in any show.
Sure, I'll take it.
I would say, to be honest, at this point in my career, I would have to say Vegas.
Nice.
It has the production scale of international.
Sure.
With all of the comfort of being able to like be familiar with your environment and being at home.
Nice.
When I'm working internationally, it's super exciting, but new pillow, new bed, different food, different sleep schedule.
Yes.
So you don't get to soak in the moment so
Yes,
much sometimes
yes,
on
yes,
stage.
yes. Yeah, when we were pulling up from the airport here, I was telling him, we were talking about like, oh, you know, would he ever manifest going on tour? And that for me, like the idea of something like a Vegas residency just sounds way nicer to me than going on tour. Although don't get me wrong, we definitely want to take the podcast on tour. So book
Tour
us
pod.
if you have a venue. Did we mention that you're performing at Gypsy?
I don't think so.
What's your favorite part of performing at Gypsy?
Brunch.
Oh, beautiful.
Because so Gypsy is a bar that's owned by the Club Piranha. They're under a little umbrella and they offer a variety of different types of gigs to the girls. So
Yes.
like some is brunch, sometimes it's 1:30 a.m. on the main stage on a big club night.
Yeah.
And I just love brunch. So let me throw it down in this way.
Yes.
So many people see me in drag and they make all sorts of assumptions, positive or negative, about my flashy acrobatic style of drag.
Okay.
I am not only connected to acrobatic styles of drag. I love all drag. Before I started drag, I was like the little queer in the back, like tipping the girls and like loving the impersonations, loving the ones that just walked up to the mic and could do a fierce lip sync. And then obviously loving the ones that use acrobatics and burlesque and whatever. And brunch is not only great coin and great energy. It's a chance for me to let go of the acrobatics and just enjoy all of the other aspects of drag, which are many,
Yes.
that make drag so fabulous. So I would say brunch. It's so much fun. Put on your human hair, whip it around, put on your favorite costume, and just like enjoy drag.
A little twirl and a drop.
Yeah. And of course I do tricks still.
Duh.
But it's not too...
It's just on the bar, not on poles and
Yeah.
bars.
Well, it feels like at Mavericks, the reason why I'm booked is because I'm a circus act, right?
Yes,
So it's like
yes.
not that I have to do the tricks, that's not a negotiable with Misbehave because she's great. But like it's a non-negotiable.
That's the gig.
Yeah, that's the gig.
Yeah.
Whereas at Gypsy, when I'm doing brunch, I just get to do whatever makes me
love
happy.
that.
So that's why I love it because it makes me happy.
The way that you answered that, I can tell that you really love what you do.
Oh, really?
The passion
Did I
came.
Did I brighten up?
You
I fucking love
brightened
brunch.
up. The passion came through. Like,
Okay,
yeah. You're made for this.
I love it.
If you had a circus animal sidekick, what would it be and what are we calling it?
Okay, it's not a traditional circus animal and not a circus animal at all. Definitely has to be a capybara.
Oh, capybara, capybara, capybara,
Capybara, capybara.
capybara. I love a capybara.
Yeah, can we
That's
just
a
call him
great
Cappy?
answer. Yes, a little cap.
Cappy the capybara. I'm fucking obsessed. I want to go to that capybara cafe in Tokyo
Yes.
and have coffee and pet capybaras.
Yes.
That's what I want
And
to
go
do.
see them in the little hot springs with their little flower hats. I know. They're
so
so
fucking cute. They're so cute.
Last but not least, in our rapid fire questions with the business that is Scarlett Business.
Scarlett Business.
What's one thing people don't know about being an acrobatic drag performer?
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to think through this. Give me a few seconds because I feel like as an artist, I'm very revealing. So like backstage when people have questions, I talk about it. I feel like I'm an open book. And I open my legs for a living, so about specifically acrobatics and drag. I would say most people they see the byproduct of it, but they don't know a lot about the process. And I have found the formulas that work for me to keep my wigs on and keep my bubblegum in. So it's like I have a wig prep that's different from a lot of other drag performers that I work with, and I definitely have a tucking technique that's very specific, and like my costumes have a very specific width to allow me to do oversplits. So when you
I love this.
Hang on. So what do you think about it?
You reminded me of when Chloe was complaining to Kim about the width of the panty saddle.
Yes.
That you need that panty saddle to sometimes be a little bit wider than a string.
Yes. So that's the thing is like I started off just going out in the bar, right? So like I can tuck tight, and by tight I mean like
how tight is it?
How tight is it? Like the width of the panty. Like I can.
It's giving Trinity the tuck.
Yeah, like I can do a really thin one, but if I have to do oversplits in
course.
it, the anatomy of how things move, like you can't do that. You can only do that if you're just walking around.
Sure.
So I had to discover, like I learned that technique first, and then had to discover what it takes to be able to like do oversplits bare-legged in a panty.
You need to trademark your style. Patented.
That would be my
technique.
Patreon exclusive.
Yes, patented tucking technique. I love that you have your own unique tucking style. That's what somebody wouldn't know about an acrobatic drag performer.
I do, because to be able to be mobile in it, it requires a different
situation. The Lego parts have to adjust a little bit. Are you ready to play a little acro trivia?
Yes.
I have a tiny circus themed trivia game for you.
Oh my God. Watch me fail all of this shit.
It's just real or fake. We're not married to any of these questions.
Oh, okay.
The stakes are very low. The stakes are so low, you might call them filet mignons. That made no sense. The world record for the longest handstand is over 3 hours. True or false?
True. I believe that.
Oh, very good. True. The record is over 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
There's a secret society of drag queens who only perform on stilts. True or false?
A secret society?
Very secret. So secretive that maybe they don't exist, or do they? Is it real or fake?
I'm only going to say fake because I'd hope that I would know about it.
It's fake because of course you would be a part of it. You'd be the secretary. Hello.
Oh my God.
Someone once did an acrobatic routine inside a moving subway train. Real or fake? True or false?
Totally.
Yes.
That sounds so like New York.
A New York City subway performer actually did this.
That sounds so New York.
You're doing good.
Okay.
See? Are you feeling better now?
Yes, now I feel comfortable.
Now you're ready to come to the table and put some steaks down?
Yes, here we are.
A little bigger, maybe a New York steak. Not a filet mignon.
A ribeye.
Yeah, see, there we go. Now we're going with it. A trapeze artist once performed a full routine while blindfolded.
For sure.
True. True. It's an extreme circus act performed in some shows.
Yep.
You're like, yeah, yes.
Yes.
Ice cream so good. Yes. Are you on TikTok?
No.
Okay, good. So you don't know the brain rot that I just quoted.
No.
Yeah. So on TikTok for a while, there was like this trend of the NPC. You know what are you a video gamer at all?
Yeah.
Do you know an NPC, non-playable character?
Yes.
So like when you're playing
computer.
in a game, yeah, exactly. And like the other characters that are not part of you are not playing, right? Like non-playable characters, but they're part of the storyline.
Yeah.
So there was a trend on TikTok for a while that humans would become like non-playable characters, NPCs. And then there's this girl that kind of blew up for a bit because the thing on TikTok is that when you're on live, they can send you gifts that are basically money, but they look like little images. And so she would react to what they would send her. And so if they would send an ice cream, she'd be like, ice cream so good. Yum, ice cream so good. But they're sending her these things, and then it would be like a cowboy hat comes on, and she's like, yeehaw, cowboy. Yeehaw, cowboy. Ice cream so good. Ice cream so good. So, sorry, my brain just rotted for a second.
No, it's okay. That sounds serious. I want to be on a live stream where I'm just like...
But the trend is gone. So, you know what I mean? Now she's on Love and Hip Hop trying to like become a rapper. So that tells you, ice cream so good.
Ice cream so good. Power to her.
Last but not least, a performer once did a backflip off of an elephant during a live show.
Yeah, it has to be true.
I made it up, but right? Maybe you should do it someday.
Oh, no. PETA already went after Ringling Brothers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy. No more animals. Except I have a friend that does an act with his chihuahua, actually. It's a really, really good act. It's really good.
The doggy acts are so cute, but even then they are a little, It's interesting, animals and performing.
I always wonder, like, I'm a big fan of dog acts, actually. There's a lot of circus and burlesque dog acts, and like, he's so cute. He comes out and like balances on the man while he's doing handstands and stuff. It's amazing. And a lot of my friends have like worked with the dogs, right? Like they're taken well care of and all that kind of stuff. I just always wonder what it's like to be in the preliminary phase of teaching the dog that it's okay, right? Like they smell so much more intense than us. They hear so much more intense than us. And to like teach them to be in this booming arena, right? In front of all of these people, like, and to stay focused and like keeping the commands. I'm so interested in the training aspect of it. Cause I know what it took to train my gay ass to do this shit. I know. So I'm like, oh my God, what does it take to train an animal that's like, doesn't communicate in the same way as us? It's so intriguing.
I know. And I'm always fascinated by like social media accounts that are specifically animal related.
Yes.
Like that the human owner makes like the animal account, like Tiga the Iggy, the little fashion. Oh, it's this little Italian greyhound, Tika. And she has 2 fabulous gay dads and a dog sister and a human siblings.
Okay.
And Tika's very fashionable. I mean, Tika has been to Paris Fashion Week and like New York Fashion Week and like has couture gowns and like a children's book. And I mean, Tika the Iggy is like a whole ass celebrity. And there's a few of them like that. And I love those. They're very much in my algorithm, the little celebrity animals. I know. Are you ready for one more last silly game?
Yeah. Sew
it or throw it. I'm going to give you an outfit concept. And if you want to sew it, tell me how you're going to make it work. Mm-hmm. And if you throw it, tell me why it's too chaotic.
Okay.
How about a corset made entirely out of measuring tape?
Oh, sew it.
Ooh, okay. And what number are we doing when we're wearing this?
What do you mean what number?
Like what song would you perform?
Oh my God. Okay. Now it's like double up questions. Like how conceptual can you be and how quickly? I would say in terms of construction, that's great because you can just get a corset that fits you great.
Sure.
Stitch or glue on top. Have a fierce fringe dress. Have like a drape over the shoulder. Whatever. Yes. Like measuring tape is such an interesting thing. And then I feel like
off the top of your head, like what's a number? Like a song that comes to the top of your head.
Like. It needs to be something like how many licks,
okay,
you know, or like something that has to do with
numbers
something that has to do with
or something
length.
like that.
Yeah, maybe 1, 2, 3.
Yes. How about?
I'm gonna have to think of this now.
No, but you went with it. How about a bodysuit covered in mini disco balls?
Oh my God. Throwing that. Someone, Love You online Kine, who's a drag queen that was on Canada's Drag Race, put like ornaments on a disco jumpsuit and they were falling all over the runway. It was a disaster. And like, I wouldn't even want to do it because of that. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm going to look like Kine. Like,
have you ever watched Housewives? Real Housewives?
Not a lot, but some of it.
So there's a Real Housewives of New York episode, Dorinda Medley, old school New York, not the current cast. And she ordered, remember the Lady Gaga bubble outfit?
Yes.
And then there was like the Amazon version.
Yes.
And so Dorinda shows up to like a Halloween party, and then speaking of things falling off, it's like the little balls are just
falling off everywhere. What a disaster.
How about a dress with functional trampolines on the shoulders?
You know what? I would sew it because that would be kind of pussy. You could have the functional trampolines, and then you could do, so you know in like traditional juggling acts how they do ping pong ball tricks? You could like use the trampoline to like ping pong shit around you. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I love that.
That sounds great.
That's a great yes and.
And I love a shoulder pad, so.
Yes. How about a leotard with LED lights that change colors depending on how fast you spin?
100%.
Right? That'd be cunty, right?
So actually, I can't reveal too much, but I have friends that are working on developing like special LED, just like in the LED world. So I've talked a lot about the way that things are computed and the way like the capabilities and possibilities. And LED is fucking cool. And so I just say sew it to anything LED.
Look at me reading minds.
Complicated and expensive, absolutely.
Yeah.
But so much potential to do amazing shit.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. A cape made of giant silk ribbons that you can use for maybe aerial tricks.
Oh, does it have to be silk? I feel like every time.
Does it have to be silk?
I feel like every time that silk comes into play, it's like this beautiful textile that just gets destroyed in show business. So
what would you replace it with?
Anything polyester. I was talking to one of the green fairies at Absinthe about this the other day. One of her skirts, it's stunning. It's this beautiful silk brocade. Mm-hmm. And And she was like, yeah, you know, it's silk. And I just feel like there could be a more effective thing because it's a lot to maintain. I said, look, if I'm not the one maintaining it, it can be silk.
I know.
But if I have to maintain it, it's not going to be silk, honey.
Exactly.
But it's gorgeous. So
Yes. Last but not least, a drag gown made out of old circus tents.
yes. You have to sew it. I actually have a messenger bag. I have like a vintage, an early 2000s Cirque messenger bag. They don't make them anymore. That's made out of old chapiteau. It's made out of old big top.
Oh,
and now they're making, I have a 5-year gift from them from a few years ago. That's it's a fanny pack made out of the canvas.
That's amazing.
It's really cool.
Oh, okay. So then we envision this beautiful couture gown that's made out of the big, what did you call it? The big top material?
The chapiteau.
The chapiteau.
It's the French word for it.
The chapiteau couture gown.
Yeah.
You're wearing it on stage. What song are we performing to? What's your big love letter to circus?
The first song that comes to mind is Britney Spears' Circus.
Ooh.
But that's like a love letter to it in a different way. I would have to say, you know, if we were going to go all the way, like if we were going to go balls to the wall, like, and it was an actual...
The balls are on the wall.
Yeah, the balls are on the wall and like they're crushed by testicles. I would have to make sure that there was like an acrobatic reveal under, and I would probably come on stage and lip sync Alegria, the famous Cirque du Soleil song. Like I'd have to do a Cirque song and like do a slow lip sync in a big gown and then take off the gown and then like do the acro after.
I love that. Scarlett, I have some sad news for you.
What's the news?
For me. It's more sad for me than for anybody else. We've reached my least favorite part of the show. It's the end. You are going to stick around, though. You're not going anywhere. They have to go away for a tiny bit. But then they're going to run and go to their computers and hit patreon.com/MeMeCherry Productions so that they can see your beautiful face one last time while we play What's in My Telfie, which is what it's going to happen in a few minutes. But first, we're going to say goodbye to the show and say goodbye to our beautiful guest. Where can they find you on the social medias?
So please, I'm in a few places, but I will plug this one that I need the most. I need your support. I need the most help here. Instagram.
Yes.
Scarlett Business with 2 T's, no spaces. So SCARLETTBUSINESS.
Beautiful. Gigs they should find you at.
I'm working at Piranha and Gypsy doing brunch and some nighttime shows occasionally. I'm currently working at Mavericks at the Plaza Hotel. I also work out of drag at Absinthe. I'm an on-call there, so I swing there from time to time. And I am in West Hollywood and Palm Springs at least once per month at various bars. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see my chaotic adventures and figure out where the fuck I'm flipping and shaking this hair.
Beautiful. If you're manifesting one thing for yourself this year, Scarlett, what are we manifesting?
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Womp, 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 womp.
Definitely my manifestation.
Yes, well, we will speak it into existence. Thank you, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're going to come back. You're a friend of the show officially. If you are listening to this podcast in your audio ear holes on Apple, Spotify, any of those providers, please leave a review. It helps a tiny glittery pirate ship like mine sail deeper and brighter seas. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. What's your favorite emoji?
Definitely the glitter.
The glitter.
You know, the 3 little sparkles?
Yes, one of mine, for sure. One of my top 10 used.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the shimmer emoji. Leave the like star that kind of spins, that little spinny star one. Leave an angel emoji. Leave any emoji because that tricks the algorithm into thinking that we're special. And you know what? We are because we believe it. When you go to your friend's house, open their computer, hit subscribe. It's the best thing you can do. They will thank you later. Thank you to our sponsor, Neil Does Art. Thank you for sponsoring this show. It helps us bring it to beautiful places like Las Vegas. It helps us bring it to beautiful venues like the Virgin Hotel in Las Vegas. Thank you, the Virgin Hotel. It helps us bring beautiful guests like the beautiful Scarlett Business onto the show. It helps me bring amazing, talented production managers like Seamus, who's behind the camera. Please follow us on social media. Last but not least, keep a lookout for those ticket links. I'm sure maybe by now there might be a ticket link over there. I don't know. Go to sofepod.com/live, SOFEPOD.com/LIVE. Come to the live show, August 7th. I know you're not doing anything that night. Oh, wait, they are. They're coming to the show.
I was going to say they're coming to the show.
That's it. We're going to leave them with a little ding of our mics, and then we go ding, and we touch tips. Ding.
MeMeCherry presents a series of fortunate events. Fortunate events. Fortunate events.